Hello, Carl. First of all, I appreciate your time. I know you are super busy as a lawyer working in Manhattan area in New York City. And at the first beginning, could you please introduce yourself a little bit to our audience? Thank you. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
Yes, I'm very happy to speak with you. It's great again to just see you and reconnect. My name's Carl. I'm an attorney in New York City. I've been practicing for about 5 years. Wayhan, we met at Maine Law, graduated there in 2020. I moved down to New York City. I started my practice working for the New York City Law Department. That's public service, doing civil litigation based. I then pivoted my practice into private practice, working largely in the insurance coverage sphere, and then to a new firm called Errant Fox Schiff. And again, my focus primarily in the insurance coverage, insurance generally, insurance coverage and insurance regulatory work, litigation surrounding insurance, reinsurance disputes, and then yes, focused.
Okay, cool. So the reason I invited you to join our conversation because even we are classmates in law school, go back to Maine law. I'm so curious about your work because not anyone, a lawyer working in Manhattan area in New York City, a place associated with Wall Street and the lawsuits. So my question is, what's it really like to be a Wall Street lawyer? Is it dramatic as we see in movies, episodes, and TV shows? I'm just curious about that. Thank you.
So hard to say I can make a comparison because honestly, I haven't seen many of those TV shows, or the movies. But I will say it is a high volume practice. It consistently the dockets are very, very full when we're in the courts. The Certainly I mean, because of the amounts and work that flows through New York City and the amount of companies that have businesses here and are headquartered here, this is certainly the place of jurisdiction for many, many companies, and many, many companies touch on the jurisdiction of New York. So that creates this very high volume practice in the city. So the extent that the movies and the TV shows portray a very busy, uh, pressurized system, I think that generally would be an accurate portrayal. I think it's as it's portrayed on TV or movies, but it is certainly no shortage of work.
Yeah, I heard the news. Everyone is whatever you are, the senior one or in the law firm, everyone is busy because one of the reason I guess is because it has been a century to be the international financial and economic center of the world. And there are more than 120 countries, people living in the New York City. That's one of the reasons you guys are so busy because lawyers surrounding with the businesses for your my second question that is, I know you are working in a renowned law firm focused on insurance, and is there a Wall Street style strategy behind the scenes?
I don't think there's any Wall Street style strategy. I mean, strategy is we follow the rule of the law, be as pragmatic and practical approach to best serve our clients. And ultimately, the bar here in New York is quite collegial. I think a lot of attorneys do work very collaboratively,
Mhm.
even if we are on the other side of the caption, so to speak, people are courteous and collegial and polite, and there is this respect, I would say, across the bar in New York and in New York City specifically.
Okay, so when we look at the news about it, there are a little tension between the insurance company and the average people because people have some expectations from the company. And the insurance company, have their policies. They're just to bother you if this tension is getting worse because I'm sure you guys have the clients as insurance companies or have clients as average people. So yeah, if you can answer this, thank you.
Sure. I will. So I'll just zoom to sort of frame, I think, the general context that insurance is it's a very deep body of law. There are many legal issues that come up, and it's a very part of the reason is because it's a very old body of insurance was, I believe, first sort of focused around the maritime community stemming from Holland. Then it was fully and further generated in England. And we're talking about centuries ago. And so we've got a lot of that has made its way the legal systems, both in the world and of course here in the United States and where we have a common law jurisdiction. So this aspect is very, because there is so much law and rules on that touch insurance, the insurance sector, and because everybody has insurance, naturally disputes occur because people are people and sometimes disputes happen. And whether it's companies and people or whatever it is, tend to arise. So ultimately, I think everyone is trying to follow the rule of the law and apply their interpretation of whether it's an insurance policy or try to interpret the whatever law it is that affects insurance or insurance coverage, and the many contracts that then go into that, such as reinsurance issues. So I don't think there's any sort of tactics one way or another. I think it is just a matter of this quite complex and many sides just having divergent opinions, which is why it can be helpful to have an attorney that's well versed in the field.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And if a Chinese investor or property owner finds themselves suddenly facing a lawsuit in New York City, your first advice to them, if this is a scenario, I appreciate it.
I would say that litigation can be time intensive. It can extend a long time, particularly while New York courts strive to move cases quickly. The dockets are very full. So I think it's important to understand the time commitment that's going to go into potentially pursuing litigation, and then also realize the costs associated with that too. And I think there are many ways that a conflict can try and resolve that before having to move into litigation. And so I guess my suggestion is always to try and resolve it with the other side, try to get the dispute played out, have a conversation with the other side, and see if an amicable resolution can come across. And if not, then there are always attorneys that are generally willing to work on a matter in a case if it's the right case for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's an AI area, everyone talk about AI. We of course in AI as an assistant in our normal jobs. It's a good tool. I think lawyers it can be replaced by the AI because as you say, you need a legal person, you need a natural one to represent the client, to get into the real world and to resolve the problems. Because AI can represent the clients go to the court or to go to negotiate with the other side and to get into this the like you said, because litigation is time consuming. Time consuming means so if from this side, I think you are right. Everyone needs a lawyer and needs a lawyer to represent to go into the legal businesses. And my last question is that there is a perception that the Wall Street lawyers are a bit aggressive and always negotiating behind the doors. And do you think it's true, or do you have any personal opinion?
I don't think that's, I mean, I think, yes, maybe there is a level of aggressive and zealous advocacy that happens here that may be more so than perhaps other jurisdictions that are not as busy. But that's not, I think that may be more of a generalization in how the movies and the dramatization of the legal world here in New York. Again, I would say it's very collegial. I would say there's a lot of opportunities in the city and the state attorneys to engage with one another outside of just litigating against one another, whether it's through the bar association, at the city level or at county level or the state level. I think there's a good amount of involvement by attorneys from just what I've observed. And so I think that takes away, of course, I'm sure it exists, but generally speaking, I think attorneys have been very collegial here in this practice in the city. And no, there's a lot of transparency. I would say more so than any closed door.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. My personal question is, And as a Wall Street lawyer, I know you are super busy and everyone is kind of like exhausting, is tired of daily life. But I think working in Manhattan area is kind of have the higher income than the true.
It really varies across the board, and I've gone from government sector to mid-sized private, larger size firm. It really varies across the board. It is on practice area as well. For instance, whether it's personal injury work versus more commercial litigation or transactional work. So it's hard to say whether a salary is consistently higher across the board or
Okay, cool. Thank you. Today's conversation kind of like, unveil the mystery about, the mask of Wall Street lawyer. Thank you for your,
so much, Wei Han.
yeah, have a,
Thank
bye.
you. You too. Bye.